Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be working in my Tone Tan sketchbook from Strathmore, and I started this sketchbook back in 2014. I mostly use it as like scrap paper, kind of like when I want to use tone paper. Most likely I'll draw on the sketchbook, then tear it out and then use it for other things. I've also done it for like commissions at a convention I went to before, so I teared out pieces from the sketchbook. So I often don't work in this sketchbook to do a lot of tonal work anymore. I used to be really into charcoal, and I have a big gray toned paper sketchbook also by Strathmore, but it's like a lot larger, so I like to work bigger when I was working on portraits. So today I thought I'd show you guys how I do my pencil crayon chibis. But I've been doing more or less like in my sketchbook before, like the method of it. But I thought it'd be fun to do it in the tone paper because I actually been really loving to work with tone paper when it comes to pencil crayons, because you can make the chibis or like your illustrations really pop from the page, which I really enjoy. So I decided to film the whole thing. So I am showing you guys how I typically draw chibis. You can see me fiddling with the body quite a bit because I do this pose quite often, so I thought like, oh, maybe it'll be okay, but then I decided to get rid of his legs and change the whole thing not to be like a floating pose. I think that was a better choice. I actually quite like the pose that I have him in for the final. Like, I guess it's this pose. I think it just looks a little bit more cuter than the floating pose. When he was floated, like having like his legs up just made him look a little too like scrunched up and a little bit too like claustrophobic for me. So I decided to put his legs down, have him stand in a little bit more of an angular pose, and now we're starting with the coloring. So I did erase a little bit of the excess lines, especially in the face, because when I'm doing the face, I'm layering a lot of lighter colors on top of the paper, and any pencils that get sealed in by the pencil crayon, it's just gonna be harder to remove. So try to remove any excess pencil if you can. Yeah, and today I'm using my Prismacolor Premiers to do the illustration. So something a bit different, and this is kind of the reason why I wanted to include the sketching portion, is that generally when I'm doing any kind of illustration, I tend to sketch like any illustration that requires me to work with color. I tend to use my my palette color Eno, and the reason being is because it usually blends in with the pencil and like the pencil crayon and stuff, or like any other medium like watercolors, my markers, anything like that. It kind of blends in. But the reason why I don't use it for the tan tone paper or like my tone paper is just because if I go too heavy with the palette color Eno, even if I'm going quite light, it looks very neon on the page, and it's hard for me to distinguish values because it's lighter than the color of the tone paper. Now I could probably get away with using the dark blue or the purple on the page, but I prefer to use pencil. I tend to work quite lightly with pencil anyway, so sketching wasn't a problem when it comes in terms of like erasing the sketch and stuff. Just don't press too hard when you're sketching. It's just, I think that's a good rule just like to live by, is just don't be too hard with your pencil unless you know that mark's gonna stay there for like forever. So a few things I had issues with when I was doing this illustration. So you can see I'm like going a little bit ham with rendering that little heart. I don't know what that is. It's just a heart, I guess, that he's holding. I decided to blend stuff out by using white and then a lighter blue color to kind of mesh all the colors together to get it one cohesive shape. But then I decided to stop doing that. You can see like halfway through the heart, I started to layer the darker colors, but then I don't really blend it out. Now, I keep switching between them. Now, initially I thought like, oh, like shoot, I shouldn't have done that. You can see that when I kind of have that realization when I start working on the hair, because I worked with the hair in such a soft way that I regret not doing that for the clothes. And when I mean the clothes, I mean mostly his red shirt, that dress shirt or whatever, that open shirt, the red one. I started working lighter when I was working on his arm that's like bent, the one that you can see all of his arm. I started working lighter and started slowly layering the colors. But on the, I guess the right side where it has the jacket like flying open, it was all like blended heavily, where it's like, it looks more like a flat color compared to like having more depth. So I started doing that a little bit more when I did his pants. Not only that, his pants are a lighter color. So when I'm working with pencil crayons, especially like the Prismacolor Premiers, I tend to struggle more with reds and blacks. So any other color other than red and black, I struggle a little bit less. As you can see, the light blue was actually very fun to work with. So I was layering light blue, and then I kind of made his lower portion after his knees a little bit darker with the light blue. Then I started adding purples. In the end, I did add pink to part of the areas, but I don't think I showed that on camera. But yeah, it was fun layering those colors and then doing kind of like a bold outline on top. Ooh, overexposure. I was working with natural lighting, so I can't control that. I tried my best to edit and colorize anything to neutralize the color to be as consistent as possible, but that's something I can't fix. But yeah, I had a lot of fun layering the colors on the pants, and I think it turned out really nicely. It didn't have any solid blending per se, as in like I go ham with a light color to like pretty much mix everything together. So my favorite part is the hair. I actually was putting it off. I usually do the face, the eyes, and then the hair, and then work down the body. But today I did the face, the eyes, and then all of his body, and then I decided to do his hair last. Reason being, his hair is supposed to be black. Now hear me out. I know his hair right now is very brown. I decided to use a dark purple because I tend to use blues and dark purples for black hair. Now, after I put in the dark purple, I added some light blue in, and then I added the darker blue, which is the blue I tend to use for like his eyes. I added for the shadows for where the in the red as well, and I decided to do that to darken it all up to give the vibe of the same value as if he had like a lot darker hair, because his hair was supposed to be black, but I don't like using black in my illustration. I don't see the reason to, so I like to mix colors until I get a value that's close to black. So in this case, I layered purples, I layered browns, I layered a dark blue, and I added a lighter blue in there just to give a little bit more color, and I think it looks a lot cuter. Ooh, we're getting dark. Added a little bit of color for highlights, but I mostly left the toned paper for the highlights. And yeah, I was trying to do my little glowy dot things that I like to do on toned paper. It didn't work as well. I don't remember how I did them for a few other illustrations, but I still think it came out pretty cute. Please let me know if you guys want me to do more pencil crayon illustrations in the future, and I definitely will. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time with hopefully either another sketchbook doodles video or a watercoloring video. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye!